Welcome back to Q&A Modeling Bootcamp. In previous lessons, I taught you basic model optimization techniques and introduced you to the perils of ambiguity. This time, I'll be teaching you about the most powerful tool you have for controlling Q&A's behavior, namely, phrasings. What exactly are phrasings? Phrasings are simple declarative descriptions of how things in your model relate to each other. For example, customers buy products, or ages indicate how old customers are. Now, these are not an exhaustive list of every possible way users might talk about that relationship. Q&A takes that simple declaration and, combined with its extensive knowledge of the rules of grammar, builds a massive number of variations on the wording that it can recognize in user utterances. So, why add phrasings to your model? First, as I'm sure you've gathered from the last lesson, phrasings are a critical tool in ambiguity resolution. Without phrasings to guide syntax, Q&A wouldn't be able to tell the difference between, for example, flights to Chicago and flights from Chicago. Second, phrasings are how you define new terms that aren't simply synonyms of columns and tables in your model, such as defining the term old in list the oldest customers. Third, phrasings are utilized extensively in restatement. Rather than restating customers and their products, phrasings would allow the restatement to read customers and the products they bought. This is critical for dialogue-based ambiguity resolution and also encourages users to formulate less ambiguous utterances in the first place. Let's take a look at the different kinds of phrasings available inside Q&A. First, the attribute phrasing. This is the underappreciated workhorse of phrasings, a simple things have other things. For example, products have categories. This enables questions like, what is the category of chai, orders that have chai, which customers have orders of chai, and the possessive John's orders. Attribute phrasings are the backbone of linguistic schema and are the default way of describing the relationship between any two things. While they are critically important, you generally won't need to create them yourself, as they are auto-generated between tables and their columns, and between pairs of directly related tables. Name phrasings describe the relationship between a thing and its name, typically a table and a column within that table. For example, titles are the names of movies. Name phrasings enable questions like, customers named John Smith, and what did John Smith buy? In the latter case, the name John Smith is a placeholder for the customer whose name is John Smith. Name phrasings are also critically important, and, like attribute phrasings, they are usually auto-generated. They're created between tables and columns that look like they contain the name for the table, such as if the column has the same name as the table, is called name, or is used as the default label for the table. Adjective phrasings come in three forms. First, simple adjective phrasings define an adjective that describes an entity in your model. For example, products are discontinued. Simple adjective phrasings enable questions like, which products are discontinued, or list the happy customers. These phrasings will typically have a filter condition. For example, discontinued products have a discontinued status equal to true. While most simple adjective phrasings you'll need to define yourself, Q&A will auto-generate them for Boolean columns that have adjective column names. In cases like this, however, you may want to consider renaming the column and manually adding the adjective phrasing instead, since you're probably going to want to ask, for example, products and their discontinued status, not products and their discontinueds. The second type of adjective phrasing is the measurement adjective. Measurement adjective phrasings define an adjective that describes the extent to which some measurement applies to an entity in your model. For example, long rivers are rivers with large lengths. This enables questions such as, list the long rivers, which river is the longest, and how long is the Rio Grande? A current limitation with measurement phrasings is that comparison is only supported against constants, not against other values in the model. So for example, Q&A can give a list of customers older than 40, but not customers older than John. The third type of adjective phrasing is the dynamic adjective. Dynamic adjective phrasings indicate that a column in your model contains values that are adjectives which describe another entity in your model. For example, Colors describe products. This enables questions such as list the red products or which products are green. Note that questions enabled by dynamic adjective phrasings are frequently understood even without the phrasing being defined. In part, this is due to the fact that Q&A assumes that data values in the model are nouns, and in English, noun-noun premodifiers are rather common. For example, list the Chicago customers. It's also due in part to Q&A inferring relationships when it cannot understand the syntax. For example, if you were to use Chicago as if it were an adjective, you could ask something like, which customers are Chicago? And Q&A would likely make a pretty good guess as to what you meant. Nevertheless, you'll still want to add dynamic adjective phrasings when your data values are adjectives, since doing so can help reduce ambiguity and will often improve restatements. Noun phrasings come in two forms. The first, simple noun phrasings, define a noun that describes a subset of an entity in your model. For example, employees are contractors. This enables questions such as, which employees are contractors, and list the contractors in Portland. Like simple adjective phrasings, simple noun phrasings usually have a filter condition. For example, contractors are employees with full-time equal to false. The second type of noun phrasing is the dynamic noun. Dynamic noun phrasings indicate that a column in your model contains values that are nouns which describe subsets of another entity in your model. For example, jobs define subsets of employees. This enables questions like, list the cashiers in Chicago, or which employees are baristas. Unlike dynamic adjective phrasings, the behavior of Q&A with and without dynamic noun phrasings is radically different. For example, without it, count the baristas would count the jobs named barista rather than counting the employees with a job of barista. Preposition phrasings describe the relationship between two entities in your model using a simple preposition. For example, cities are in countries. Preposition phrasings enable questions such as count customers in New York, books about linguistics, or which city is John Galt in? Occasionally, preposition phrasings are automatically generated by Q&A. This happens, for example, for columns with a geographical data category and columns that have prepositions in the column name. Verb phrasings describe the relationship between two or more entities in your model using a verb. For example, customers buy products, or employees sell customers products. This enables questions such as, who sold what to whom, which products did Mary sell John, and which green products were bought by John. Verb phrasings are the most versatile of all of the phrasing types and can have the largest impact on ambiguity resolution and improving restatements. As a part of that flexibility, Q&A automatically infers a large number of standard variations of the phrasing. So for example, if you define employees sell customers products, Q&A will automatically know that products are sold to customers by employees, so you don't have to define that as well. Verb phrasings, and occasionally other phrasings, can also have additional prepositional phrases defined. So you can answer questions like, how many athletes won a gold medal at the Visa Championships? Which customers were given a refund for cheese? And at which competition did Danielle Leva win a gold medal? So for our fourth exercise, we're going to use the model we finished annotating in part 3 and export the linguistic schema so we can add some phrasings. We'll add a couple of verb phrasings, a simple adjective phrasing, a measurement adjective phrasing, and a preposition phrasing. And of course, we'll do the most important step of all, keeping that test questions list up to date.